quote, "Once we put production at the center of our attention, our surprise at extremes of income and wealth, rich people, rich countries, poor countries, our surprise at extremes of income and wealth might suggest the question whether there are comparable extremes in the production of wealth and whether these two extremes may have something to do with each other. Setting the possession of wealth aside to focus on the production of wealth. And that is intellectually more fruitful if you really want to know why some people are poor and some people are rich." That's the argument.
Absolutely. One of the painful things, I came from an earlier era when we were taught, that the reason we have electric lights is because of Thomas Edison. The reason people can now afford cars, whereas 100 years ago, 1% of the American families had a car, is because Henry Ford figured out how to make cars a lot cheaper. And various other things, we understood that. You never hear that these days. All you hear is that somebody is rich somehow, that for some reason it dropped out of the sky or something. And it's true, Bill Gates has more money than I guess some countries. But of course, he created more than some countries. But at the very least, you can ask the question, and you can find out maybe that wasn't true of others, maybe it wasn't true. Yeah, but the fact is that question is kept off the table in most discussions now. They act as if somehow this guy has all this money, and as if it's almost as if you're implicitly assuming a fixed amount of wealth in the world, and if he has more, somebody else must have less.
And so you're being quite dispassionate at the moment, but that actually makes you angry, because all kinds of people, including students at pretty fancy institutions, but also poor people in this country and elsewhere, are being told, consider the political question. Consider means of, look, rich people, they must in some way be to blame. For goodness sake, over half of 18 to 25-year-olds said they supported Bernie Sanders. A majority of the youngest voting cohort in this country supported a man who calls himself a socialist. And your view is, at a minimum, that's going to cost them time. They're wasting time. What they need to understand, you need to understand what are the habits that lead to production. Correct?
Yes. The question is, why is there wealth in the first place before we get into the question of how it's distributed? Because if there's no wealth, there's nothing to distribute.
Okay.